Today starts a new legislative session in Congress. Democrats will work to pass an array of bills from the Paycheck Fairness Act, possible gun rights legislation, and the Equality Act. This weekend, voting rights has taken center stage. Senator Joe Manchin has come out against the For the People Act, effectively killing progressive signature legislation. He does support the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. NBC News senior political reporter Jane Timm joins us now to talk about all this, what the differences are there. Jane, good morning. Thanks for being here. So let's start with the For the People Act. What's in that bill, and what about it has pushed Senator Manchin to oppose it?
Good morning, Savannah. Now, the For the People Act is huge. It's more than 800 pages long. So there's a lot in it, and that's kind of what Joe Manchin doesn't like. He doesn't like that it's huge and it's very partisan. It does not have a single Republican supporter of the bill. But crucially, it creates a federal floor of voting access. It says that everyone across the country should have the same basic access to things like early voting, mail voting. It makes it a little easier to get registered and stay on the voter registration rolls. So when we talk about all these different voting restrictions across the country, basically it would kneecap a lot of those bills by saying everyone gets the same basic access. And outside that, you can make it easier to vote, but you can't make it harder to vote. It also does things like banning partisan gerrymandering, campaign finance reform. It is, in some ways, a long list of Democratic wish lists.
So then Senator Manchin did say, though, that he would support the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. So what about that is different from the For the People Act?
So the John Lewis Voting Rights Act is a much more narrow bill, and it essentially brings us back to the status quo we had before 2013, when the Supreme Court gutted sort of a key provision of the Voting Rights Act, which basically said that states and counties with a history of discrimination had to go through the Justice Department when they wanted to change their voting rights rules, their sort of access to election, any kind of polling place closures, things like that. Now, the Supreme Court said in 2013, you can't keep using the same list of states and counties with a history of discrimination 50 years later. This says we're going to create a new formula to figure out which states and counties need to go through preclearance, and that is constantly being updated with this bill.
Now, Jane, I also mentioned some other stuff that are going to be these legislative priorities. Tell us more about what else is up for debate this session.
It's going to be a big one. I think gun control is going to be huge. We've seen a lot of discussion there. I think it's just going to be a raucous one. But voting rights has definitely got all of my attention.
All right, Jane Timm, thank you so much.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.